Okay, Mac 248, Production Procedures, Tuesday class, the 3rd of February. So what did we learn today? Well, I handed back the test. Everybody did pretty well on it. Everyone passed the test, certainly. If you are concerned about your grade, I'm available to talk to you in my office. Also, I wanted to tell you that if you come to my office, I will help you in any way possible to beat me and to do better on these tests. One way that you really could, though, is to make sure you watch these little recap videos, because I go over in a much more concentrated fashion the stuff that we went over during the day. So during the test review, I reviewed all the major concepts from the milestones of the first 3 weeks: project and process, strategy and tactics, and then how they get buy-in from the team to get started on a continuous improvement process. So I gave page numbers for all the questions and let you see where those test questions came from, so you know how I write tests now and what you can expect on the next one. The second lecture was on bottleneck versus constraint. What do I mean exactly by bottleneck? Some of the students said that they really still don't really understand what a bottleneck is. So I pointed to the book definition of a bottleneck is any resource that is equal to or less than the throughput needs of the plant. A constraint is a more general term that can be whether you are trying to slow something down through a constraint, or you're trying to speed it up. It's more of that kind of a thing. So a non-bottleneck resource in the goal can be thought of still as a constraint, but the bottleneck, which is the NCX10 or the heat treat area, that is the bottleneck. In other words, the bottleneck is the constraint or the top constraint that we're trying to deal with. So in that context, we need to focus like a laser on this bottleneck and not get lost in any other details, because this is what's controlling the throughput. This is what is controlling our cash flow. This is what is controlling how quickly we get paid for our work. So it's critical to how we stay in business. These constraints do not need to be, the non-bottleneck constraints don't need to be producing all the time. As a matter of fact, in some plants, it's a good sign that everybody is not working all the time, that all the machines are not pushing through product, because this can lead to piled up log jams in the productive flow through the plant. Remembering that that's the crux of this book, is that we're trying to manage the flow of work through our manufacturing plant. We're not trying to manage our capacities. We're trying to balance the flow of the work through the plant with demand in the marketplace so that we can get paid on time. And you'll see the certainty of knowing when we will be able to finish our projects. That certainty is worth paying for. We'll see later on. The last part that we talked about today was Stu came in and gave an excellent lecture, I thought, on the influence of this book, The Goal, out there in the community. He went to the Wilmington Grill Company, and during his job interview, the book was referenced, and the guy was struggling to put different aspects of the book into practice. And Stu, with his background in industrial psychology, tried to help him a little bit. Then Stu went to go work for Manufacturing Methods, where they were installing a flow management software package that they were having very tough time implementing. Jobs were coming in and piling up in the front of the process and were not flowing through to the shop, prioritized so that they could make their orders. Everything was a hot job. The bottleneck had spread at Manufacturing Methods, and it led to a lot of unhappiness and late orders. So in his talk, I heard him talking about a system that had like green and red tags, how the bottlenecks had spread. how they were trying to focus on the bottleneck, but could not see the best solution to it because they were pretty much lost in the forest for the trees. So I think today we learned a lot, and once again, I hope that you will watch more of these recaps. I'm going to post one probably for every single class you're in. Thank you. We'll see you next week.